Welcome to Reach the World ASAP. This is Pastor Scott and Julie Griswold, partnering with ASAP Ministries, and we're here in Cambodia. We're here because of a special training going on for the literacy teachers and the small school teachers right here in Cambodia. And it's a program that Julie's been working on. In fact, some of you have heard about it last year when we came as a trial run of a curriculum that wasn't all complete and together, but getting their feedback right from the start. So for those who don't know what this is, we're talking about it because it's such a part of our lives, but this is Growing Safe, Rooted in God's Love, a curriculum to keep children safe out of abuse, out of trafficking, a lot of problems in Southeast Asia, and we have such a heart for that at ASAP. God has put together something, and I know it's more than those beautiful pictures, although they're enjoying them lots. A lot of work over the last year has gone into rewriting, into thinking of new activities, ways to really make it participatory. So anything else about the lessons before we go and take those who are listening on a little tour of them practicing teaching the lessons right now?
I think one of the things that we realized is that all the children that we have in our schools have experienced trauma in some form or another. And so when we started describing what is trauma, what is abuse, and that when we talk about them coming from the poverty, being so poor that they don't have adequate food or adequate medicine, or death in the family, or perpetually getting sick, or neglect, just plain neglect. My mom is at the market all day and I have to take care of my 3-year-old, cook the rice, boil the rice, and do my homework. We're realizing that these kids are under so much stress, not just parts of their lives, but pretty much their life is trauma. And we started realizing that part of their brain, when trauma happens, part of their brain begins to shut down. Mm-hmm. And to be able to have a curriculum that will help them build trust so that they can handle some of the heavier experiences, and being able to express what's happening to them and learn from that doesn't just happen by asking a question and them just being able to talk with us. We need to be doing sensory, tactile things with the kids in order to help them develop that opening up that side of the brain that has been shut down. So we've been teaching them how to make Play-Doh, how to play in the water, do things, draw, and tell me about your family. What happens in your family by playing in the sand, or showing us on a cookie sheet with sand, describing, having things that divert their attention from the pain, mm-hmm. so that they can slowly begin to build trust and be able to talk about some of the difficult things that are happening in their life, and us to be able to introduce them to God, who is the healer. And these are just resources that help that happen. So that is also a lot of the lessons have a lot of activities that will hopefully build trust and help the children to be able to heal from their traumatic lives.
All right, so you tell us more as we go and take a look at them practicing teaching about the different pieces of the lessons, and then we'll come back together.
This is a lesson in making wise choices for our health. And at the end of this lesson, there's a temperance pledge that each child signs, that there's a story. The application story is about peer pressure in trying to get some kids to smoke, and how to stand up and say no to smoking. And right now they're just asking questions. There's a lot of interactions. There's Bible story and application story, and then questions in between to make sure that they're catching the lesson.
Excellent. That's really good. It's so helpful when you ask questions, because then you know if the student's getting it, what they're understanding, and you can correct or add or affirm.
In this lesson, they clearly learn the simple steps as to what is their right, what should not happen to them, and what to do if someone does touch them inappropriately, and who to go to, who they can recognize as safe people that they can trust, and to be able to share if something has happened to them that is not good.
That is so awesome. Something that we might take for granted, but they absolutely need to be taught. All right, they're crowded into this little room, enjoying the lesson. What's going on here?
That this lesson is to help children to know where they came from. They are learning in this lesson that God created them in the same image of Him, and that's how much value He has on His children, is that God wants them to be in relationship with Him forever.
Part of this teaching process is that while they are teaching the lessons themselves, Julie and others can walk around and see what they're doing and then correct if there's something that hasn't been done well. So for the most part, they're really getting it and just love being able to use Bible stories, present-day stories, activities that just match this culture really well. So it's exciting to see them teaching and to be doing it in such a practical way that they can pick it up at the same time. So this group has pretty much already gone through it, and they're continuing to improve as they go. And now they're sharing with Julie, who does understand what they're saying and is able to then give some corrections and directions. Fun to see.
This lesson is about Jesus and how Jesus suffered for us to give us a second chance, and He rescued us from sin, so that He truly does understand when we go through the suffering, because He has also suffered.
So that's got to be extremely crucial. If people have hurt them so badly, how on earth can they forgive them? And if they did forgive them, what would that mean? I mean, you don't want them to continue to do that bad thing to you, so forgiveness must not mean that it's okay, that it can continue on, but it must mean that I will not get them back for what they've done to me. I will leave that in God's hands, and He can judge them, or He can change their heart.
Mm-hmm. Yes, this is all about forgiveness and how not to hold on to bitterness and anger that's just going to destroy them in their life and cause hatred in their life, but to try to release it and let God be the one that avenges them, and for us to be able to forgive.
That's so beautiful, and that's what makes this curriculum truly Christian. It's about the power of what Jesus can do in their heart to either help them prevent or deal with what's happened to them. So Julie, what are they doing here?
Okay, they're teaching how to stand up and be brave when there's things that are happening to them that are not good. And right now they're teaching the story of Esther. This lesson is helping the children to realize that they have all kinds of feelings, and feelings are okay to have, but how we handle our feelings is what's most important. And so this one talks about ways that we can calm ourselves when we're in a situation that we get angry, or we get afraid, or happy, sad, how to handle our emotions in a healthy way.
Wow, that is really, really helpful. So I just heard them reviewing the first lesson, the one that comes before this, and that's such an important piece and that you've built into it. Looks like there's some fun singing as well.
One of the things that they're learning to do with their emotions and their feelings to get it under control before they talk is to walk away from a situation and to try either counting to 10 first, saying a prayer, singing, whatever you can do to get your emotions under, so that you don't hurt somebody or say something that you regret.
That sounds really helpful.
Prayer is the most important thing that we can be teaching. That's the creative and the unique thing about our teaching, is that they're Christian teachers. And anywhere else in Cambodia, they're not going to be praying to the powerful God that can help them to heal and to be strong and to make wise choices as they grow. So part of the curriculum is teaching the children to pray on their own and learning how to pray.
It's a lot of fun for me to see this coming together. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling worn out, but so joyful. I'm so excited to see the teachers excited about a curriculum that they can be proud of. And I know that they are going to take this back, and it's going to be such a blessing to the children.
I bet you wish you could be there with them while they're teaching the children.
Yes, very much so.
That's really where it's at. So I'm sure there are people listening who would love to get a hold of this curriculum and use it. How can they do that?
They can go to asapministries.org, and they can order it in English, in Khmer, in Vietnamese.
That's wonderful. That's very exciting. So, and I believe too, Julie, that those who are listening, there are some who would love to use it, not only for teaching in this kind of a setting, but the curriculum actually is wonderful for any children to help them to know how to stay out of trouble or how to help somebody who is in trouble. Thank you so much to those of you who have gotten behind the Growing Safe, Rooted in God's Love project. We really appreciate not only the financial support, but the prayers. And those prayers are continued to be needed by the literacy teachers and the small schools teachers as they go home to share this with the children. Pray for them. Pray for people across the land to take up the care of children who are in difficult and dangerous situations. Together, let's reach the world ASAP.